Hello, and I am back here on the channel. And right now, I am doing my after party. Let me check my internet because it's getting. Okay. I think everything is good. So, anyways, I am shooting this video as my kind of during the day. As you can see, it's sunny out. Unlike before, where it was really super dark, but I was super excited, and I had to say what I felt. So, uh, there we go. All right. So, anyways, I hit 100 subs last night, so I just kind of wanted to I just kind of wanted to do my thing. My Twitter has also been off the hook because of all of you, but I wanted to do another video to kind of have everyone who was not up or was not able to come in last night actually come in. I need to actually organize when I go live because I feel like not very many people know. But anyways, last night I hit 100 subs. Kind of super excited about this, and I decided to shoot in the one place kind of started it all and do this after party kind of thing here where I work, because this is kind of where I got my inspiration from. So I'm gonna second, hold on. I am going to flip my camera over. And over here, as you could see, this is my theater. Not very many people because I'm here hella early. But this is where some of my videos have been shot. So that is where some of my videos have been expertly shot and or crafted. So anyways, I have some slight lag going on. I have no clue why. Let's see. What do we got going on here? I'm also checking my Twitter as I'm doing this. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. So, I am sorry about that. Anyways, I'm trying to get everything steady. That camera's been really choppy. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, that's why. Hold on a second. Adjusting some settings. There we go. And okay, did that fix it? Let me see. Still a lag. Nope. I think I'm good. Okay. Anyways, I am back here on my channel, and today I just to do a little pre-celebration on top of the already had my celebration last night. Let's see. All right, there we go. I'm still learning all these formats. So anyways, this is the celebration, after the celebration, kind of pre-celebration thing. I have just been saying my thank yous to everyone, so hey, what's up? Great to see you. This is my after party. So, you know, kind of like that song, the after the party in the hotel lobby. Was it R. Kelly? I think R. Kelly did that. Yeah. Anyways, yes, I am throwing a like because I know not a lot of people were up, and I did my live stream at like midnight, so I sent out an invitation for everyone to come just to shoot the shit for a bit. Although I don't like to curse on my channel because I also have a lot of other people who are students of mine who subscribe. So, but this is just a stream. And hopefully I'm not lagging. Feels like, okay, really weird. Normally my camera doesn't give me this much problems, but I have a particular spot that I'm shooting in. I'm shooting at my movie theater, so... And the reason why I chose this, just to get into a little bit of a history, I started this channel. I actually shot my first video outside of the movie theater here. So hold on a second and bear with me while I do a terrible camera switch. So right over here is my movie theater. This is the empty lot. I don't really want to show the movie theater itself because of legal reasons, and I choose not to get sued. But right in this spot here is where most of my infamous videos have been shot in between working. So, and that's my cup of coffee that I have used for props. And this is Lucille. She is one of the stars right here. So... So anyways, yeah, I was just shooting this because I was super excited. I reached 100 subs, and yeah, super exciting times. And so I wanted to share with everyone the joy and excitement, whilst also all right, I also have my my Twitter going off on the side here. But anyways, so yeah, I was doing this second video as a kind of thank you. I normally like to do like news and other different things along with this kind of a video, but this was strictly made as a video thanks for you guys. I did thanks last night. I don't know, really felt great about this. And why this is so important for me, why I'm so happy about 100 was because going into this, I didn't know how big I wanted to be or where I wanted to go. But as I have started to get more subs, I'm starting to think a lot bigger. And I really want to make this a very interactive channel. And I want everyone to be able to come here, and I want to make it so that every other channel can get subs, and we can like spread the love around to different channels. Really quick, I wanted to talk about, I have been able to browse not everyone's videos because there's so many people on my list now, but I've been able to browse a lot of different people's videos, and it's really interesting to see everyone we have in the community and how certain people focus on different aspects of the community. We've got gamers, we've got strictly comic book people, we've got movie people, we have MCU people, we have Star Wars fans. I mean, this is like a true community. And this reminds me a lot of what we've been going through with the SJWs, which I'd like to hit on really quick because the SJWs have been key to my inspiration. And bear with me before you start unsubscribing to me. But the SJWs and the way that they've been talking in the media and the way that the press has been demonizing channels like Mecha Random, Geeks and Gamers, and all of these other sites, I know that drunk C3PO has had his run-in with these people, and the attacks that this whole community have been getting. I myself had like a troll, and it's really crazy to see how these people have gone after such a great community. I have literally been in this community for like a couple, like 2-3 months now, and it's been really crazy to see how good all of you guys are and how good all these people are. I mean, the Twitter community that I am a part of has always been nice. All of the people that I've talked to or that I've run across, no one has been rude or disrespectful. And I really think that this speaks to how this narrative that they have betrayed us as, how the narrative they have painted this community as, and I'm starting to get passionate now because this really upsets me, but how they have painted this community like we're the demonizing people, and we're everyday people. We're people that are passionate about things that are in our areas. We're passionate comic book readers. We're passionate gamers. We're passionate moviegoers. We're avid Star Wars fans. And the irony of it is, this is the base that started all of these things. And yet all of us in our own way have been disrespected or have been treated harshly. So it's really good to see a community that has come together, and we're all there for each other, and we've all been doing awesome things on multiple channels. I'm really glad to see that I've gotten views on my channel. I've given views and likes to everyone else. I try to give views and likes to everyone that I see. I try to subscribe to as many people as I can, just because even if they're a small channel, I don't want them to, give up because, they're doing this and they're not getting any results. I understand, like, the frustration. I started this out of just being frustrated over the state of where the MCU is going, which I'm still frustrated and unsure about. And after watching these videos, it's funny to see the different things that have been affected. You think it's just like comic books, but you see that the industries as a whole, entertainment as a whole, has like great visionaries that are being stifled by politics. And I really don't like it. And a lot of people on the community really don't like it. So it's great to see all of us coming together and having our voices, because the SJW, someone brought up a good point to me the other day, or tried to bring up a good point. They said to me, well, Lee, SJWs don't make up everyone's opinion, right? They're a small minority. Yes, that may be true. I don't know the percentage of people who buy into these narratives, but the problem with this small group, the problem with this minority, is that they have a loud voice and they have a foothold. They're like ninjas. They snuck into the things that we like, and they got positions of power, and they're systematically destroying every single thing. Everything. They are destroying every single facet of entertainment that they can get their hands on. And these are the things that really, really, really are agitating me, because I wanted to think it was just me noticing this, but any of these channels that I go on, anyone that I talk to, it's always the same thing. We all see the same thing. And you can say that we're a think tank, but look at the major media outlets. These outlets are supposedly paid to give us they're honest opinions, and they're not. They're not. I started this channel because we weren't getting honest opinions. I actually started this before Rotten Tomatoes became a thing. I started this off of just a view of one of my videos, and I got, you know, I didn't have any subscribers at the time. I was just doing videos just to do them, just because I saw a show and I liked it. But after Rotten Tomatoes, I wanted to say something, because I rated Captain Marvel 1.5 star, and my rating got erased, and I was furious, absolutely upset. And the whole interest meter thing, I was really, really upset. And that's when I did my RT score video. And, you know, this community has just been great. And the more I got into this community, because I was half in and half out with the regular shill media, and I started seeing what was going on way before it got this bad. And once I started getting into this community, and I believe I got in by just watching like tons of videos from Geeks and Gamers. And then after that, I started talking with people and things like that. And that's when I realized how great this community is. That there are tons of people in different areas of entertainment. And it's just amazing. Like literally every single person that I talk to, that I tweet with, we all have like different specialities, but yet we have the same view at how the SJWs are wrecking all of our specialities, okay? You have your hardcore Star Wars fans, and you have your people who can fall into all three. I'd like to think I'm diverse. I like Star Wars, I like games, but my passion is movies. You have your movie critics and everything else. And the reason why everyone is gaining strength here is because all of our media is systematically being destroyed. And that's why I was so happy in getting 100 subs, because it confirmed my idea that I'm not the only one who feels the same way about this. I am not the only one who notices the shift and the bias and the shenanigans that's going on in these different mediums. This culture war that everyone says in the mainstream media, they're now acknowledging it. But we're the bad guys. We're the trolls. We're the trolls under the bridge, hiding, trying to take down their big corporate system. And you know what? If I'm a troll, I gladly accept that role, because I'd rather be separate. And I'd rather have my own voice than fall in line with all the other NPCs that are out there. I'd rather be an individual than just be a carbon copy of what everyone else is doing. Star Wars, comics, games, all started from individual ideas. Someone had an idea and they ran with it. And other people liked the idea, therefore they endorsed the idea. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is capitalism. And that is why I'm so excited, and I've been having these live streams. That's why I did my live stream yesterday to say thank you, and that's why I'm doing the after party, woot, today, Cabbage Patch, Ben Affleck. That's my terrible dancing. Please don't mock me. I was not born to dance. But I do have opinions, and I do have very strong opinions and a lot of different things to say. So I feel like one of my big things was that I have a gift to speak, and to speak to a mass crowd, and to give my thoughts and my ideas. So that's what I do. And I wanted to say a personal thank you to everyone. That's why I'm doing this stream now. That's why I am here now, streaming for you guys live. Oh my goodness, I'm at 21 minutes. That's why I'm doing this live stream now, outside my theater, where it all started, in Lucille. Look at her. She's beautiful. Look at this. That says to Dad from Sierra. That's from my daughter. I always keep that hanging, because it is a constant reminder of the fact that my daughter is very creative, so she does a lot of writing and stuff. So if you are not in, jump on in. I've seen 1 or 2 people in here, so hopefully my camera is not too grainy, cutting in and out. Not too sure how the how it's all coming out. So anyways, let me check the Twitter. This is so weird, jumping in between my phone. Okay. And let me see. No chats. Okay. Hey, what's up, Thug Life, Jeremy? Good to see you, dude. I was giving my big speech about a little bit about my channel starting, and I'm shooting outside of my theater. Hopefully this is okay. I have had a little lag here and there, but I was talking about how I love the diversity in the community, and just giving some points and views, and yeah. This is more of a big, like, congratulatory thank you. I was, that was very stylish. I like that entrance. So I was talking about, the community and how I started this, and, like, giving my origin story, kind of like a Spider-Man thing, or, you know. Actually, I think it felt more like Bruce Banner. Like, you know, the old school Hulk where he walks away and it plays that sad song in the rain. Dun, 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 dun. And he, you know, and he's walking. Thank you. So, in case you missed it, I was talking about how this started for me because of the fact that the MCU was being taken over by SJW politics. I was at the theater, and I hadn't done a video in a while, and I just wanted to start getting stuff out there. Gosh, I've posted many videos. I can't remember what my first video is. I just remember it was in my star, Lucille. So I'm sorry if this gets all grady for a second, but this is Lucille. There she is. Look at her. She's a mess right now, so forgive me. That's all of my work clothes. That's for my daughter. That always hangs above my visor. And this is the infamous theater that I shoot out of. That's the Holiday Inn. I don't know why there's a Holiday Inn across from the movie theater. Really weird. But yeah, this is, I'm shooting here for this video specifically because this place is very close to me. 90% of my videos have been done right in this parking lot. And I'm hoping that my manager doesn't see me so she doesn't think that she can get me into work right now. Because it's my day off. And we're short-staffed. So if you see me duck out, it's because she's walked past my car. Welcome, everybody. I was talking about how grateful I am for everyone, how I appreciate everyone in this great and wondrous community, and how it's so crazy that I jump between different channels and we talk about different things, but yet we can all be different fans of different things and still have the same opinion about these SJWs destroying every aspect of our different things. So you got the comic book people, you've got the MCU fans, you've got the Star Wars fans, you've got the gamers. And yet, every community, every video that I'm able to watch, I notice the same exact thing. The same exact infection in each and every media. Every single one. Even video games. And the gaming industry was the one that's able to fight this the most. But I feel like the entertainment industry and the comic book industry have been taking the biggest hits when it comes to these SJWs. And I was talking about how I had a disagreement with a coworker, and they said to me, "But Lee, The SJW movement is like 1%. Well, if you have a small minority that gets a foothold into positions of powers in all of these mediums, then their voice is the one that's heard the most because they have the most prominent position. And that is why you see most of their views being pushed out to the general public. It's because they're getting into these positions of power, very clever, sneaking in there, and then slowly infecting everything that we know and love. It happened with the MCU. It happened with Star Wars. They tried to do it with games. Battlefield 5 was a play by the SJWs to sneak the feminist politics, but the gaming community is so niche that they saw right through that, and that game sold terribly. The problem with the movie industry, the problem with the comic book industry, well, not so much the comic book industry. They've taken a hit too. But the problem with the movie industry, the industry that I love, is the fact that you have too many normal people who don't pick up on the things that are going on around them. They don't care. They just want to watch a movie. They don't care about the politics behind it. Captain Marvel is a shining example of what you get when you can make a good universe, get your demographic, and then you can put out these movies and you still won't see the effects because of the fact that they've built such a large fan base among normal moviegoers. So the normal moviegoer is not going to pick up on the politics. I talked to several of them. None of them saw anything until I mentioned it. And I'm like, where's character development? Where's arcs? Where's all of this stuff that just make fundamental, basic storytelling? And it's really scary. It's really scary that this movie succeeded. That's why I started this channel, because I am so scared the direction that the MCU is going to take, like where it's going. And it's not just the MCU too. I see a lot of this on Netflix. You know, Netflix tried to diversify, but the difference is Netflix is a big platform and you can subvert a lot of the garbage that they put out on there. But every single form of media is being infected with this SJW narrative. And that's why this milestone was so important to me, because I feel like I want to get, like you guys have, a big platform to be able to speak. Because the SJWs clearly have a big voice, and we have to have a bigger voice to drown out what they're saying. They might be the ones in power, but we're the ones with the cash. We're the ones who's going to spend the money on this stuff. And I think that is what they fail to realize. If you reach enough people who have wallets and enough people start pulling that money, these SJWs don't stand for anything except for, I truly believe, dollar bill signs. Yeah, tell me about it. And I can't for the life of me figure out why regular people are accepting this nonsense. I mean, they window dressed this movie. Window dressed the movie with action, Samuel L. Jackson, a cat, okay? And somehow people just fell for it. They fell for the narrative. And now Kevin Feige and the gang are going to think that this stuff sells, that it's working. This was the most devastating blow, because I've said this on, Yes. Yes, Mary. That is my point. That is my point exactly. That there was nothing to it. The movie in general was boring. It was boring. I saw it a second time because of my coworker wanted to go and see it, and I see movies for free, so why not? Thank goodness I had to see Alita 2 more times to kind of cleanse my thoughts from that terrible movie. But when I saw it with my coworker, he said, well, it wasn't bad, but it was kind of boring. And I go, that's my point. This movie is a Trojan horse. This is the definition of what happened in the Odyssey, when they snuck in the Trojan horse and then they had the soldiers waiting in there and they slaughtered the whole camp. That is exactly what happened. Yes, the average viewer is accepting it. That is the problem. The average moviegoer does not care to know, and they buy into mainstream media. The intelligent and smart people that all inhabit this community, I know you guys probably got your friends and things like that who are good friends of yours that you'll debate with, and maybe they'll see certain aspects, but they just don't get it. They don't get that the culture war is a thing. Even the media acknowledged it. I was looking at Deadline and Sci-Fi Wire because apparently people say I'm one-dimensional, but I like to know what the enemy is thinking. And I was reading an article where they acknowledge there's a culture war. They still frame us as trolls, but they're like, oh, this culture war has started. And it's like, dude, you started the culture war. You started it. You know, you guys started us getting upset. You know, we had Star Wars. We were happy. You guys made your once-a-year crappy movies that no one cared about, that no one was going to see. We didn't endorse it. You had your life. We had ours. And then all of a sudden, these people started slipping into our media and thinking that it was something that they wanted to own. And here's the thing with Disney. My instructor had said a speech. He had said to me, he said that a lot of time people like to own things. Thank you, Star Wars Wookie. Much love. He said to me that people like to own things, not necessarily because they want them. They just want to say that they have them. And that's so true. That's what Disney feels like. Why does Disney own all of these things? Why? Why? What is the point of them owning Fox? Can anyone tell me? What is the point of them owning this? They're just going to run it right into the ground. I love Disney. Don't get me wrong. I watch the reboots. Thank you. I love Disney. I watch the reboots. But, you know, my is, why do they need to own these companies, these products? Oh, hold on a second. Come on. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was my whole thing. It's like, why in the world do you have to have more? And the biggest thing, I don't care what anyone says. The biggest thing to me, the true death of the media. Yeah, it does feel like we're Jedis. You know, it's like, yes, thank you. Yes, definitely there were a lot of politics in that. I follow the political scene. I am really, really, really upset because of the fact that this, to me, is very dangerous. Monopolies were banned for a reason. I can't remember. I believe it was the 50s. It was a railroad company that owned a monopoly, and the Supreme Court got involved and broke up that monopoly because of the fact that it turned too huge and it was destroying smaller companies. And it goes against the theory of capitalism, which is healthy competition is what makes the country thrive. So if you have no competition, essentially you're just competing with yourself. That's why Disney has no ideas. Look at their lineup. They have nothing. They are running out of creative ideas because they are buying the companies with creative ideas so that they're not directly competing with them, which is kind of asinine and killing your bottom line, which I don't understand why. And them buying into the SJWs, you flatline one IP already. Okay, Marvel might take some time. The MCU might take some time because they've built up such goodwill. We're talking 10 years of goodwill. And Marvel fans, I like to say, are different than Star Wars fans because within the actual hardcore Marvel fan who knows the comic book, you have generic fans who don't know anything about the comics. They just like the movies and the character. And they've character built very well. So MCU might have a more extended life than Star Wars did. Star Wars was a niche audience with a diehard fan base of old school people. I mean, I grew up with Star Wars. Everyone who's, I'm sure, associated with most of these channels grew up with Star Wars. We all know the lore and myth. It's a very established niche fan base. Yeah, EA is the same way. EA is the Disney of gaming. They really are. They're atrocious with their microtransactions and all of that nonsense that they had. I know they had a big scandal. I believe it was them. They had a big scandal with microtransactions, with like just pumping out tons of these like different deals and stuff, and you can never keep track. I played a Star Wars game on my phone that I used to love all the time, and it was an EA game, and I was waiting for it, and I don't even play it anymore. The transactions on it is ridiculous, and I play Marvel Strike Force now, and I'm starting to kind of get away from that. Yeah, you know, the funny part is, everyone went to see Captain Marvel because they thought it was some kind of big tie-in. And everyone that went there for that, they came out and they said, oh, that's it. And I said, you don't have to see this movie. You literally do not have to see this movie to have any knowledge of what's going to happen in Endgame. Literally, Carol Danvers is the most useless character in the MCU. She's the most useless character in comics. No one's cared about Carol Danvers. No one has cared about Carol Danvers. Yes, I do. Thank you for noticing my eyes. Yeah, not very many people grab that. So yeah, I would. Oh, and my coworker is texting me right now. She's like, "Hey," she's probably gonna get really mad because I'm live streaming. Wait, hold on a second. Moving this to the. Oh my goodness. You know, the thing that upsets me the most, they made this push towards Captain Marvel, and you had two very good, strong, powerful female leads. Hey, miss. Welcome to the after party. The one thing that really upset me about this whole thing is that you had two powerful characters already in the universe. You had Scarlet Witch and you had Black Widow. And Black Widow is my future wife, Scarlett Johansson. She doesn't know it yet. But when I become major and I really get attacked by the media, then she will notice me, to which case I have a scenario where I've struck up a conversation and we start talking, and then I don't know how it happens, but we're married for like 10 years. That's my plan. Wish me luck. I don't know if it's going to happen, but, you know, Black Widow, BA, martial artist, just saying. Go slay those dragons, miss. Either that's a metaphor for life or you're playing Skyrim. I want to say it's Oh, I like it. Metaphorical dragons and Skyrim dragons. Gosh, speaking of games, Skyrim was such an amazing game. I think I literally lost years of my life playing that game. There was days where literally I did nothing, but I had a pack of Oreos and a cup of milk. I shut off my phone and played Skyrim for hours upon hours on end. So, I believe it. She's very she's very she's got a very witty humor. I've seen that firsthand, so but yeah, if you were just joining the channel, I am just BSing with all of you guys because this is my after party. So, I am like throwing this for you guys who couldn't make it in at midnight. At midnight, I just had to like dance. So, oh man. So yeah, if you're just jumping in, I was given for Mary because she enjoys origin stories. I was given my Bruce Banner origin where I was walking around. I was walking in the rain and yeah, you saw the Cabbage Patch and the Ben Affleck from Chasing Amy? Yeah. Oh God, that dance was horrible. I can't believe that was a dance in the 90s. Good God, what were we thinking? But I did it. I did that in the butterfly. New York kid right here. I was butterflying it up and raising the roof. I did the jump around. God, I went through all of the horrid stages. Hey, Thomas. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I just was doing this vid to shoot the breeze with all of you guys because Astoria Queens. So I still have family in Long Island and some in Staten Island. My aunt owns a school in Manhattan called Tyco. She doesn't know that I'm shamelessly plugging her right now. So now she's going to be like, holy cow, I just got new people. Oh, that's my nephew doing this thing because he's awesome. But anyways, but yeah, so in case you don't know, I gave my Bruce Banner origin story. I'm outside of my theater where all of this started. Gosh, I wish I had effects. I do the whole do 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 do, and then I need like to walk away slowly and start hitchhiking down the street. God, I love the old Incredible Hulk. I could literally watch that every single day, every episode. I got all the DVDs. It is amazing. So, oh my goodness. Are you talking like the weird, like, there you go. And I just lost 2 or 3 subscribers. That was for you, Wookie, because Wookie buddy, you have listened to me rant so many times, and I say, why in the world is Wookie still here? Oh yeah, you hate New York sports teams. I totally agree, except for Giants. Giants for life. I don't care what no one says. Eli brought us to the promised land twice, and we beat undefeated Patriots. Just throwing it out there. And somewhere in with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he just got a winch because I mentioned that we beat the great Tom Brady. But it happened, and history can't erase it. Okay, but you know what? We do this. We dip, and then we make the underdog come back. Oh my. we've just been taking a break, you know. The Giants have been taking a break, you know. Sometimes you got to reflect for like the next freaking 5 years. Think about your life and how you're going to restructure and get better, come back stronger. I don't know why we're so easy. You know, when the Giants first won the Super Bowl, recently, I believe it was like in '08, because I had gone to the military literally right after that Super Bowl win. I can't make this up. When they won that Super Bowl, I was probably the most hated person in Wisconsin because they won a game against the Packers. I was sitting in a bar, and I have my New York Giants big coat on that says Eli's #1. And I was in there, and it was like, I believe it was the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl, and we were facing the Packers. And as the game started going, yes, Odell for life. I have an Odell Beckham jersey, actually, custom made. So I was sitting at the bar, and I'm sitting there. Things are going good. Game's really close. Not gonna lie, it was a great game. All of a sudden, we're about to win. And it was like an episode of Family Guy. It was the scariest. It was the scariest scene ever. So I'm sitting there, we win. All of a sudden, I can't even make this up. I literally felt like Peter when he says something stupid, and everyone just turned. They looked at me, and I was like, well, time to hit the dusty trail. Ah. Well, you know, I am a black belt, but at that time, if you guys don't know Wisconsin, there is a lot of big people around here. And I mean big as in like work on farms, like farm life big, like whoosh, kind of big. So I was looking, and I'm like the only like small dude in there. I think the Chicago Bears fan left like, you know, an hour before because we all glared at him. And all of a sudden, every look just looked at me. And I also remember that year because my ex, her dad would not let me come over to the house for like a couple of months after that game. So it was a pretty fun time. So that was my little story, little uncomfortable story about why I don't talk politics or sports here in Wisconsin, because both seem to be a hot button subject. Also, the reason why I try to steer clear from politics on my channel. I know where I lean, but I more am in it for the fight against the SJW crowd. I really feel like the way the landscape is of YouTube and all of these different entertainment platforms, it's not even about political views. It's like become SJW versus common sense. And I am going to line myself in the common sense camp, because that is all I know how to have, is common sense and decency. So, you know, that's and and that's why PB, when we were chatting yesterday, and if you don't know, he was my 100th sub, so much love to him. He just like casually comes in, and I was like, dude, I'm at 99. I got to get 100 subs. And it was hilarious. He was just like, oh, there you go. And I was like, and I'm sitting over here dancing. I'm crying. I had a notebook moment. I did the whole Breakfast Club jump in the air with my fist, playing Don't You Forget About Me. I felt like he was like sitting at home going, So it was such a great moment. And yeah, so great guy. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's seen my or if he's watching this stream. He didn't even know I was doing a stream at night. He kind of jumped in and commented in the videos, and he goes, "Oh, you were streaming?" So that's why I decided to do this really long day stream, just to talk to all of you guys. Like, just to have you guys throw weird random comments that I will answer just because I love everyone here. So, if you have weird, wacky stuff that you just want to throw out there, just like go for it. Or, any normal questions for me. Nothing weird like, have I ever rode with no clothing on a unicorn across a field or something like that? Because I probably won't answer that. But yes. But wow, I don't know even how I got this far off of my my talking point. But anyways, so origin story complete. What's my fave? Anime or games? Ugh, that is a tough one. I have to say anime because okay, so back when I was younger, it was video games. That's all I did until my mom said to me, if you don't get off that game, I'm going to throw it across the room. And then I went to a friend's house, and the first anime I ever watched was Ninja Scroll. And I probably shouldn't have, because it's a grossly inappropriate anime for my age, but I remember watching it going, this is awesome. And then I watched Wicked City and City Hunter, and I think Lupin the Third was after that. Oh, Mary, browse my channel. I have a full review on the first arc of Death Note, the anime. The movie, I get flustered talking about it. The movie, that is not Death Note to me. But the anime, yes, I've watched several times. I actually rewatched it just now. Yeah, it's there are so many great, like, literary points to that movie. So many great. Geek in Disguise, what's up, buddy? You and Wookie are the people who always jump into these things and seem to, like, hang tough, so great to see you, man. Oh, Death Note. Death Note was like, Death Note to me, okay, I gotta tell you right now, I have two competing animes as my favorite anime series of all time, not movies. Movies would be a movie I saw that's called X. It's very underrated. If you ever have a chance, watch it. But my two best favorite series are Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist. I dressed up like Scar. So I went to an anime convention. I have since recently burned those pictures, so no one will ever see them, but I was in full Scar getup. I had my hair spiky like this, and I spray painted it white. And I had the long brown coat, and I did tattoos, like, down my arm. So, yeah, I'm going to actually get the real tattoo. I talked to a guy. I'm going to get the sleeve going from, like, right here all the way down. So. Oh, that's a tough one, man. Kira beat L, and L was the greatest detective, so that's a tough one. If L could beat Batman, then I guess that would mean Kira could beat Batman by extension. So we'd have to do like an L versus Batman, see who win, and then do Kira versus Batman. But then who knows? The Dark Knight is considered like one of the greatest detectives. But here's the thing. What makes Kira's character so great is if you watch yeah, I saw a lot of Edwards. I did not see a lot of scars. I was like one of the very few, but there was like, and then I got attacked by a bunch of lusts, which I gotta say wasn't a bad day. But like all of these people dressed as lust wanted to take pictures with me, and it was like a nightmare trying to get past all of them. I don't know. It was like a group, and I was like, Denzel Washington, Equalizer, or Keanu Reeves, John Wick? Good question. I pick Wick all the time because, okay, Denzel's Washington's Equalizer, he's got that mind thing where he thinks ahead, but yeah, I don't know. It was very rare for me to cosplay, but with Wick versus the Equalizer, I'd have to pick Wick. Denzel Washington, when you look at that movie, he's still a thinker, and being in the field that I was in, he's got a very strategic mind, but he needs time to gather it, the whole watch thing. Wick is reactionary. He just does. So, and I don't know, it works for him. So, and like he has a plan, but it's all pretty much it's all pretty much reactionary. As far as Austin Powers or Johnny English, I'd give it to Austin just on swagger. I'd never, like, Johnny English was funny to watch, but I never really got into him as much as Austin Powers. Austin Powers, for being as I don't know, he just seemed to, like, his charisma just seemed to, like, carry him through. And he always seemed to have a really good plan. Johnny English, like, reminds me of that person who would mess up the plan, so. Yeah, I am actually really sad about Gotham going. I always thought it was a great show. I thought the writing had its issues between, like, switching. Like, when they did the mid-season break, I felt they had a lot of good storylines, and then the swap was kind of disjointed. But I always liked it. I always liked the dynamics between the characters. And I'm really sad to see Gotham leaving. I think there's a lot more stories they could tell. So I do like how this last season has been shaping up, though. It's been pretty good. So even the thing they're doing with Bane's character, I really have enjoyed watching that. I mean, it was predictable. I kind of saw it coming, but I like how Gotham has done its own spin. I would, you know what? Fox still has the rights. I would just like them to take the actor that they have now, because I think he's a really good Bruce Wayne, and I would like them to do, like, a continuation. Like, you have Gotham, and then, like, Batman. And if I change my camera view, excuse me for a second, I gotta plug my phone in, because she always dies. I have no clue why. No! Ah! Alright, if you don't see me for a minute, hold on. Hello! I am back. Sorry about that. My phone just died, so I had to bring it closer to me, and I got it charging on my thing. So yeah, anyways. And there we go. We are getting people back in because Lee finally got his phone working again. And if you see this up-close camera view, it's because my phone is literally charged into my car so that I can effectively kill my car battery to talk to everyone. For you guys. Wow, I must say, I did, you know, just a sidebar, thanks, Wookie. Sidebar, I have just been noticing in the camera, I did a really good shave. That was, I got like just amount. I'm gonna grow out the Thor beard, right? But, oh, speaking of which, next topic of discussion, and this is what you get on my channel. It's gonna be completely random, but Chris Evans and Hemsworth's hair during Avengers, I'm pretty sure they're going to give me a restraining order, but I have asked what product they are using, and I cannot for the life of me thank you, Wookie. I cannot for the life of me figure out what product they're using. If anyone knows the answer to this question, please, it is a matter of urgency. Tell me the product that they use. That man's hair never moves. Wookie, this is not just any hair gel. I am convinced this is specialized product. Okay? I don't know where this product hails from. Oh, Mary, I'll be on your stream tonight. Well, actually, I'm supposed to do something with Black Angus, so I'm gonna message him. I'm supposed to actually stream with Black Angus around the same time, so after I'm done doing that, I will jump in and give my dashing good 2 cents. Oh my god, my beard is so well shaped. I did an excellent job on that. Okay, I'm sorry. I had a toxic male moment there, where I just had to pat myself on the back for my white privilege that I have. So sorry about that. That's what you get here. Toxic male white privilege. Sorry about that. Anyways, you know, I wanted to touch on that for a little bit. So someone called me a toxic white male, and it's kind of funny because I'm like half Puerto Rican. Funny because I'm like half Puerto Rican, a quarter African American, and Irish. I don't even know how you get that mix, but it's what happened. So, you know, a little bit more about me. I don't think there's been a mix like that in a minute. I don't know. There might be other people out there. But, you know, complete sidebar. Mary, I had a question for you. This is a question of vital importance. What does Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans use in their hair that it never moves? Watch Avengers. Everyone laughed at me because at my second showing of Infinity War, I said, you know, why does their hair not move during battle? I want to know what product they're using. I work out. My hair is a wreck. I've used every kind of gel and hairspray, and I just can't get this thing to stay at times. What are they using? What is the secret? This is the question I am posing to everyone. What is the product that they use during these battles? Yeah, I know. Sometimes my stream gets wonky. I think it's because of my phone, so I apologize. I'm gonna get a new phone once I get more money. So, yeah, for everyone joining, That is the question I am posing. During Infinity War, what do they use to keep their hair the way that it is? It never moves. Thanos literally punches everyone in the face, but Captain America and Thor's hair, look at it. Watch the DVD and pause it. I swear, I've done it. Maybe I have issues, but I've done it. And their hair doesn't move. Not even a sway. It is windy in Wakanda. It is windy, and the man's hair doesn't budge. Gosh. How do you do it, Cap? That's why I love you. How do you do it? What is your secret? If Chris Evans, if you ever watch any of my videos, that is my one and only question to you ever. Dude, how do you do it? I've tried for years. I've suffered through different products, and I have never cracked the code to having perfect hair. Yeah, Wookie says that his hair is made of vibranium, so that could very well be. And one of my coworkers said that Thor has godlike hair, so it's Asgardian in nature. That could be. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know what to do. I'm really... I know, but like, you know, and Mary, just to apologize right now, I'm gonna sound just to apologize right now, I'm gonna sound very toxic male here, but I believe that women being in the bathroom for like 3 hours is the reason why their hair never seems to move. Because my ex, my goodness, I had to schedule my bathroom time. I literally had to put aside an extra hour to get in the bathroom because it was like an Infinity War trying to get in just to do this, okay? This doesn't take that long. Literally, I threw some water, threw some gel, use a quick comb, and I'm good to go for the day. I don't know what she was doing. I felt like she pressed a button in our room and a secret wall came and she had all of this stuff that she did, and I come in and there'd be a wreckage of all this other crap I've never seen in our house before. It was crazy. And I was like, where did this come from? And I'd look at some of the things. Mary, you're always looking tip-top, okay? If we were to, say, any other woman in existence and Brie Larson, I set my template to what you should never look like. Oh my god. And I work at a theater. I've got to stare at that angry look like 6 hours or 7 hours a day. Do you know how maddening it is to walk past that poster for 7 hours? To clean that theater? To look at that blankless void for 7 hours? That's worse. That is worse than any torture anyone could devise. I literally have to stare at that plank of wood for 7 hours. And then we had posters in the front, because I thought boxing, I would get away from it. Then we had mini posters, and my boss knows that I hate Captain Marvel. So to be funny, she said, Lee, take these mini posters and put them up. And guess what, guys? Guess what? You're gonna be shocked. Same expression on the tiny posters. The exact same expression. Oh God, if she did practice, she did a horrible job. Did you guys see her smile? Her smile was cringy. That was the cringiest part for me. Dude, her smile in that movie was like when you watch that person at a wedding Oh, but I love your sense of humor, Mary, because my sense of humor is sick. I just can't dive into it much on my channel because I've got kids who are here, and I try to keep it wholesome for the kids. I'm all about instructing and teaching the youth, and, you know, if they ever come on my channel, I don't want them to go, oh my goodness, did Mr. Cole just drop an F-bomb? So that's why I personally try to keep it clean. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I had done a video about this before. Did anyone see the Jimmy Kimmel interview? I sat through all 20 minutes of that interview. My goodness. Oh, why? Yo, I was looking at Alita, and I kind of was like, am I wrong that I think she's hot? Like, is it wrong that I could actually see myself with Alita? You know, the whole... And, you know, how would that work exactly? You know, when I was watching that love story, like... That's trending whole new territory. I mean, I read the manga, and in the manga, they kind of get into some weird stuff, because you know how the Japanese market is. They don't care about being, like, weird when it comes to that. But I was like, don't know. That's... Right? She does have charm. And it was funny, because I was talking to a coworker about it, and they were like, well, here's a great point that most of you guys may have not picked up. Has anyone noticed that Captain Marvel copied Alita's amnesia thread? Because Alita couldn't remember who she was either, and Alita came out before Captain Marvel. Alita was actually in production before Captain Marvel. It's kind of funny that both movies have the same theme, but one does it way better than the other. Anyone else pick up on that who may have seen the movie? Because I certainly did. I was watching it for the third time, and I meant to, I'll probably do a video about it. Oh, excuse me. But, I was watching it for the third time, and I'm chatting with some crazy people on the Twitter. You guys know who you are. Ha! Plug to all of you. And I noticed, I was like, both of these characters have virtually almost the same backstory, yet one movie does it amazing, and not only that, they put two different story arcs into one movie, and then the other movie does it very generic. Like, Alita's storyline is exactly the same as Captain Marvel's storyline. She comes from an alien race, she gets separated, she can't remember who she is, she goes through battles and challenges, she falls in love, starts regaining her memory. Sound familiar? Yeah, and Alita was out and in production before Captain Marvel. Interesting. And yet the critics didn't understand what Alita was about. But then look at the same reviews for Captain Marvel, and they seem to pick up every thread in that movie. Interesting. Yes, Brie fell in love with herself. Did you see that scene where she saw herself in the mirror and realized that she's the single greatest person alive, and that we're all just a bunch of trolls under the bridge? Males, patriarch, that are trying to hold her down. So, I mean, if you read really deeply into that film, I almost think of the Kree. I almost think of the Kree like an allegory for the patriarch, and them trying to hold her back and repress her great power, right? And how she doesn't need anyone else. And how, you know, everyone had an issue with the scene where she has her memory of falling down and getting back up. And in essence, I don't have a problem with the scene, but here's the thing that was clever. And I talked about this when I said, is Captain Marvel and Mary Sue? I think she's like a hybrid car, okay? You have aspects of a vehicle mixed in with the SJW. So, like, freaks my phone out. Completely kicks me off. I have no clue what that is. But yeah, my phone just freaked out. Yeah, man, either my phone is, like, really freaky because of the... Either my phone is really freaky because of the whole, I gotta set it so that calls don't kick my stuff, or, Brie Larson is watching my vid, and, the MCU bots are working overtime to kick my stream. So, if you're out there, Brie, I love you. You're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and leave me alone, okay? Just leave me alone. Not my that your acting is flat, like your backside. Oh, snap. But yeah, so, like I was saying, Brie is such a, her character is such a clever Mary Sue, because of the fact that they disguise it very well. I watched Professor Geek, and I think that's where he said that you have the beginnings of the character's journey, and then they go, like, full Mary Sue at the end of the film. Like, just full, non-stop Mary Sue. And, I did see... Hey! PB, my personal hero, for giving me the 100th sub. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. We were talking about the fact that Captain Marvel was like a clever hybrid car as far as Mary Sue's go. She started off as a character that could have had dimensions, and then they fixed the insides, and they turned her full Mary Sue SJW vehicle at the end. When she went Super Saiyan, she went Super Mary Sue. That's what I'm going to call her. Unlike Rey, she transcended Rey and went Super Saiyan Mary Sue. We have a Super Saiyan Mary Sue in the MCU that's intent on destroying the whole entire universe. Ugh. Don't even get me started on Rey. Don't even get me started on Rey and how, that, I don't even have words. I don't even have words. And I think Finn got it the worst, because Finn had the makings of being such a great character, and Rian Johnson, the devil, as I like to call him, well, yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. Okay, my template for powerful characters, I have a theory in comics and anime. It's called the superhero theory, okay? There is a safeguard in place for every hero, where they can be overpowered, but they have something that stops them from being exactly overpowered. The DC, and one of my favorite characters, Superman, his safeguard is a piece of rock. Just think about that. The man who could reverse time and space. It's been debated whether or not he can run faster than the Flash. And his one thing that can beat him is a tiny piece of his home world. That's what makes powerful characters relatable, is they all have a safeguard. Batman is human. Iron Man is human. Captain America is a super soldier, but in essence still human. Thor is a god, but we've seen several times that he could still be beaten. Let me think, I'm trying to think of other characters. Black Widow is human. Incredible Hulk is the inner turmoil. Like, his humanity is his safeguard, because Bruce Banner and the Hulk are constantly battling for control. So that's his safeguard. even in essence, if he's immortal, he still, you know, fights with the humanity. Yeah, and the thing is, even with Dragon Ball Z, even though Goku is essentially the most powerful character, which is total garbage, and I always thought Vegeta took a backseat, who's my personal favorite. But yeah, DC's getting pretty bad too. The comic book industry in general, and I think Ethan Skyber covers this great. The comic book industry in general has taken a nosedive. Both DC and Marvel are, for some reason, jumping on the SJW train. All of their characters have suffered reboots and things like that because of the fact of SJWs pushing out this narrative that no one wants, no one needs, no one asks for, just to get in there. No, Pop, I actually found her safeguard. So I was looking up my personal favorite character, Goose the Cat, and I found out that the cat was CGI because the actress, Brie Larson, is deathly allergic to cats. So I was just saying why didn't the Kree return and shoot missiles with cats in them? Or cat missiles, right? Then Captain Marvel would have just crashed to the sky. I started sneezing. She apparently broke out in hives with the 1 or 2 scenes that she did with the cat. And this was on Vanity, did an article on it. It was hilarious. So yeah, she is allergic to cats. And if we want to be Captain Marvel, all we have to do is show her mittens, and apparently she goes into a fit and gets near death. Like, I mean, deathly allergic. I'm waiting for the day where kids are bringing cats to, like, the premieres, and Brie's eyes are watering, and she's breaking out into hives, and she's got to, like, run away because they had to CGI the cat. That's hilarious. That was the funniest article I read. I meant to do a video on it, and I forgot. Oh, that was the... don't even get me started on that. Like, some of my friends tried to give me a good justification, and they're like, well, Ben Mendelsohn did say that it was a flarkin, and the biology is different, blah, 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 blah. I go, no, that was a stupid retcon. You destroyed the credibility, and it doesn't even match up with the history that was established with the character. That's the biggest slap in the face, because Nick talks it up like he was, like, in a battle and it was a cat scratch. Really? Really? That's Marvel, that's what you're running with? So you took the most iconic figure, the most iconic human guy who's amongst all of these people, and they won't even get out of line with him? But Goose is the one who took down his eye? That was the person? It was atrocious. And, like, when I'm watching it, I'm just thinking to myself, there is only one storyline that I liked from the comics that I would honestly pay money to see. And there's a storyline with Rocket Raccoon and Goose the Cat. And Rocket figures out that Goose is a flarkin. And you know how Rocket thinks. He's all about credits. So he kidnaps Goose. And he takes, like, his own ship. And they go on, like, wacky space adventures. I think it was, like, a limited run. And if you run across it, buy it. It's such a great comic. But, like, they wind up becoming, like, animal buddies. Because apparently Rocket speaks, like, every language known in the galaxy. I don't know how he knows, but he knows Flarkin. The Flarkin have their own, like, language. Hold on, I gotta read that one again. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I lost his eye to a cat. Yeah, I actually brought a sticker over at my local Stone Cold Creek. It's a coffee shop, and it has a picture of a cat, and it says "Be curious." And, oh God, where did I put it? I was carrying it with me forever. I was going to wear that sticker for Captain Marvel, but then I realized it's a sticker, and if I used it, I wouldn't get more novelty out of it. So I decided to just keep it in its form, and it was hilarious. I'm gonna buy like tons of Goose merch. It's gonna be like Ethan Skyler in the game with their Rose Tikas. Only I'm gonna have Goose memorabilia. So that's what I'm pulling for. I would love the Oscars to do a spoof. Alright, cool. So I would like to do the Oscars to do a spoof, right? You have the Oscar nominees, and for some reason, because the Oscars are a bunch of pandering people, they nominate Captain Marvel. I know, I saw that. I'm gonna get it. I'm going to get that. I'm gonna get that and put it, and then I'll shoot a vid for you guys. Yep, I'm gonna shoot a vid, and I'm gonna highlight. It's gonna be a highlight on my plush Goose Flarkin action. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. It's gonna be so great. But I was thinking, right, the Oscars, they nominate Captain Woman, and they have their big acceptance speech, right? And they have the best supporting cast. And you think Samuel L. Jackson or Ben Mendelsohn is going to get it. And then on the red carpet is Goose. And all of a sudden, they announce Reggie, because that's the cat's name. Yes, I have issues. I looked up the real cat's name. They announce Reggie, the tabby cat, is the winner of Best Supporting Actor. I will clap. I'm going to cry some tears. I'm going to feel very vindicated, like all my support that I gave to the cat led up to this moment. And, I hope that they make an Oscar that's in the shape of a cat. And I was saying, I felt like this movie maybe wasn't about female representation, but was about feline representation. So, we should have started a GoFundMe to get stray cats to see Captain Marvel, because pretty much that was the highlight for most critics. Oh, I'm sorry, I went far off the board with that one. But yeah, if you look at critical reviews, the cat is the real winner. Oh my God, yes. I would just... I would write into the Academy and just tell them, hey, please nominate the cat. That would be a year I would watch the Oscars all the way through just to see Goose win the award. And then I want Spike Lee sitting there so that he can jump up and make a whole race card about how the cat is oppressing his people. Oh, great. How great of an Oscar. Dude, that Oscar would have the highest views in television history. I think that Oscar would beat out anything that's out. That's what they need. The Oscars dipped in viewerships. Just have Goose win. Just have Goose win and invite Spike Lee. Oh my God. And then have Spike Lee coming after Goose because he felt like he should have got the Oscar and he got snubbed by a cat. Oh gosh, that would be... I would tune in every year to the Oscars if they pulled something like that. That would be great. They need to have me running the show because I just have some wacky stuff going on, man. The Oscars would be popping. I'd have random, no reason skits. I would invite everyone. Oh, it'd be great. And then, just to make the SJWs upset, I'd invite everyone in the gaming community and everyone in this community, and you guys all have front seats. Oh, that would be great. Like, yeah, I watched the Oscars this year because people wanted me to do a review on it. People from my work. And I gotta say, I hadn't watched the Oscars in like 10 years. That's an actual figure. I counted it, 10 years since the last Oscars I watched. Oh, yes. I think, you know what? I think maybe, and for anyone who's on this live stream, I think we should host our own Oscars. We should do a live stream. We should, like, invite every possible person in all of our subgrouping that we know and hold, like, a giant mock Oscars. And we should use these movies. You know, we got Shazam coming out and all of that. Yeah, Barry likes the idea. I'm saying we should do it. Yes, Odin, I tuned in for that. Odin, I would love, you know what? I actually got a reply from him. I would love to, like, shoot him out a message and be like, hey, man, we should, like, do it. Just, like, get a big, like, giant Oscars stream. And, yeah, we can even have Captain Marvel in there, Captain Woman. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, really, if you guys are really, like, because I'm dead serious. I love doing, like, creative things like that. I would definitely, like, take notes and, like, organize it. And, like, just have all of our channels featured and nominated. Like, you know, we need to go outside the media. We need to, like, we need to go outside the media, and we need to start doing things that get more popular than them. Because then they talk about us, and then we get even more popular. So, it's like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers says, you know, monetize the hell out of them, you know? Just take all of the backlash that they use, because these idiots don't realize that they give us just more. Restarted from the 80s, yeah. Dude, born in 84, but my love is 80s film. Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Roadhouse, let me see, I think Rambo might fit into there. I know how Die Hard is in that era. Let me see, gotta keep on going. There's a lot of movies. Probably a ton I'm forgetting, but you have so many great films in that time period that we could use. So many great films. I want to even say, was anyone who's on here, because I don't have, like, my facts and sheets here, because this is just a random stream in my car, but wasn't Star Wars in the 80s? Star Wars was in that 80s era. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was 80s. I know, like, a lot of those films, I want to say, like, that was that Jaws, Indiana Jones, like, the magical Spielberg, Lucas era. You had James Cameron and John Landon and all the other great directors that were coming up. And I want to say that was the 80s era. I know a lot of great horror films came from the 80s, too. I want to say that, like, the original Halloween was touching between those two. I believe it was either 79 or 80. I want to say Aliens. Yep, Aliens was in that time period. We could use a lot of stuff from there, actually. That was, like, pretty much a golden era for the film industry in general. Oh, Back to the Future. Now, see, with my 80s picks, I've got to kind of break them off into different genres because it's so much stuff that I like from there. If I'm going sci-fi, I do like Back to the Future a lot. Karate Kid. Yep. Has anyone seen that Cobra Kai? That Cobra Kai show? Because it's actually really, really, really well done. Like, shockingly well done. I was quite pleasantly surprised how good of a show that is. Like, the way that they character build, now that is how you respect a legacy franchise. Like, the way that they built the new characters and respected the legacy. I know, I'm super stoked. When I get more high-tech, I want to do trailer reactions. Like, Stranger Things just dropped Season 3 trailer, which I'm super excited for. I got it, like, set on my list. And someone here... Yeah, they did rush it a bit. I want to say, I don't think they realized how good that show was going to do. I don't think they realized, like, how many people actually love and adore The Karate Kid, and how many people love and adore that movie. Like, any martial artist, that was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, that kick doesn't work, but wow. Although I did hear a couple of funny stories of people trying. But yeah, that movie is so influential in the landscape. And like, as far as martial arts movie, I'm a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, so I'd have to say over Karate Kid, mine was Bloodsport. So, oh yes, Star Wars Wookiee. Legion Season 3. Legion is such an underrated show and such great acting. Like, out of the box directing, final. Yeah, the final fight scene in Legion Season 2, they've trapped the Legion, and he just goes full, like, just, I can't even describe it. Like, he does that little, like, psychic thing, and then it gets betrayed. And, yeah, just brilliant writing. And that, I can't stand Captain Marvel, because when I watch shows like that, it's character development. Like, that character has been developed so great. Like, the whole aspect of his multiple good, his assumptions that he is naturally the good guy, and then we find out that the Shadow King has been his safeguard, and that all along he is the villain of the piece. That is amazing storytelling right there. That is just, like, mind-blowing. I watched it and I said, my goodness, this is people to invest in the future. How the two lovers got so on different sides. And my favorite episode was when he got trapped in his mind with his girlfriend, and or no, I think she got trapped. He went in after her, and they can. Thank you. I forget the name of the episode. I'm gonna go back through, and I've been dying to do a video on it, but one of my favorite episodes was when she got trapped in her mind, and he had to go back through and see her and try to pull her out. Stuck on an endless loop, and every time he thought he figured out this, he would end up in the same room over and over again, trying to figure out. If I remember correctly, it was something so simple that he couldn't get about her complex mind. And that is how you do a good female character. It showed her strengths, but it also showed her weaknesses. It showed her vulnerabilities. And not just the fact that she can't touch anyone, but the fact that internally she is damaged deeply, much like he's damaged deeply inside. And that them being together is like two destructive, deeply damaged people trying to make it work. And it's like a really haunting, powerful kind of romance that I really was digging. And, you know, it's one of those shows where you're kind of like for it to happen, but they have so many issues that realistically they just can't work. And you know, I found that moving. I found it very moving, and just a great show. Yeah, like, You know, that's why I like these different little shows, because you see the passion of like an experimental show. So yes, the Transformers movie is epic. Like the old Transformers movie, I love it. I could always watch all of that, all of the old classic stuff. A lot of people had a problem with the Michael Bay movies. I like the first two. I thought there was some depth and character development. I thought Bumblebee did it better, though. Like, Bumblebee, the animations and the way that they expressed Bumblebee and how he kind of became a character himself, that was pretty good. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know. My phone is just like... Oh, that... Okay, let me just exit out of all that and see if that helps. Yes, I do like Megan Fox, okay? I was the only person in the theater to see Jennifer's body. I'm very convinced. I was the sole purchaser of the ticket, probably besides the cast, and I don't care. I don't care. I like her. She's got stellar acting, maybe. But we can... Like, I love the fact, too, that, like, they say Megan Fox is so hard to work with, but it's great because I never hear her talk, like, about politics or anything, so I really don't care about what she does, you know, behind the scenes. It's like a Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe, okay, let me tell you, Russell Crowe is one of my favorite actors because that man punches out media, and anyone who does that should just get an Oscar off of that, because that man does not take crap from anyone. Those are fighting words, Thug Life, Jeremy. That's my girl. That's my girl right there. It's a toss-up. I mean, Scarlett Johansson and Megan Fox, I don't know what I'd do. That'd be a tough one. I don't even want to think about that decision. That's a life choice I'm not ready to make yet. Like, but yeah, Russell Crowe, I love him, and I love the fact that he is so hard to work with, and the fact that he does not... Yes, I think Scarlett Johansson might win, but I heard Megan Fox is quite scrappy. So, real life, I don't know who wins that one. Because Megan Fox seems like she's like a hair puller. Like, she would pull some hair and, like, maybe throw some scratches in there. I don't know. If there's politics in the Transformer movies, I really didn't see them. I mean, when I watched it, and I've watched it several times, it just is a fun film. I mean, Michael Bay has a certain style of shooting things, and I feel like he doesn't break that, and I don't think SJWs could invade it because he just wouldn't have it. He just... Oh my god, that video is so cringy. That video is so cringy. She's on a level. She's on a level, like, I don't know, road, pushing a Jeep in neutral. Okay, my grandmother could push that. Alright? There was no challenge. Now, if she was up a steep incline pushing it, then I might be impressed. But really, Bree, that's your Rocky workout? I've always wanted to see someone do a vid using, like, the Rocky montage and then just show Brie Larson pushing the Jeep. That would be hilarious. Because that's what I felt like that's her go-to. Yeah, the I watched all of the Transformers movies because I'm a big Optimus Prime fan, and Two Swords, I don't care what anyone says, everyone's all like, oh, Optimus Prime is the leader, he's always the one people go for. But he turns into a semi, and that voice, my goodness, that voice. I love the voice acting for Optimus Prime. Every time I hear him and he's like, Autobots, let's roll out, I'm like, yes, let's roll out. I get hyped. I'm ready to start my day. I like, sometimes before I have to go in, I just play that one scene when I'm getting ready to go in and train. I'm like, let's go and do this. Yeah. I don't know, a little side tangent there. But yeah, I love Optimus Prime since I was a kid. And actually, my little brother drove semi-trucks just because of Optimus Prime in Transformers. I asked him about it. I was like, he loves to fix vehicles, and he was all like, I'm gonna drive trucks, and I'm like, trucks, and I said, well, why are you gonna do that? Oh yes, that theme song from the X-Men cartoon series is so iconic. That was like, oh, I remember watching that Fox Saturday morning. That was the greatest. You had X-Men, Spider-Man, you had, I believe Saban was part of that too. You had Power Rangers in there. It was an amazing. And then I woke up one Saturday morning with my daughter. I go to turn on Saturday morning cartoons. I'm like, oh, let's see what's on. You know, I'm thinking I'm going to get a flashback. Ugh. The stuff they have on Saturday mornings, my goodness, horrendous. And I know they're kids' cartoons, but, I can't even remember what it was. It was so terrible. Yeah, I'm dating myself here. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm seriously dating myself here, but I remember the 90s cartoons. Yeah, Mary, he didn't grow up in the golden age. We did have Nirvana, we had Saturday morning cartoons, we had 90s era wrestling. I mean, we had some pretty good moments in the 90s. We had OJ, who was innocent. Oh my God. Yeah, I have to check that out. I've heard some people say that it's a good show. I'm down on my... Come on, Barry. I remember... Okay, so funny tidbit. I remember that I lost a best friend. I remember watching the OJ trial with my best friend. He was African American. And I'll never forget. We didn't talk for months because when OJ got that not guilty verdict, it was like a huge party. And that was a clear divide in the race game there. That was such a huge divide, and I lived through that. And I remember, like, my friend was like, I told you he was innocent, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, he just had a really good attorney. He had the greatest attorney of all time, I would argue with anyone, because that man got OJ acquitted of very blatant evidence. I mean, that should have been like the jury convened in 5 minutes. Well, I don't really know that. So yeah, that I love how PV just jumps in with such a Oh, that was great. But yeah, thank you guys for the support where I was battling with my... I'm sad because they haven't responded back since I did that video. But when I was arguing with them, they were like saying some like random stuff, and they were like trying to preach to me about feminism, and I was like, youngin', I lived in the 90s, okay? I lived through all of the cases you're talking about. I literally watched the cases. I had coworkers that I talked to. Oh gosh. Thug Life Jeremy. I I remember that skit. But yeah, I lived through like the 90s like true era of feminism, and I even supported like the true feminist movement, not the SJW social justice warrior garbage that we have now. Like real honest to God trying to, and it was equal. Feminism was not just like how they took it out of context with just females. It was both male and female rights. It was equality across the board. That's how the feminist movement started. And unfortunately, just like a lot of politics, they've all gone far leaning. So you had sides that were equally fighting for both equality in both genders, and now it just switched all of a sudden and went far left-sided to the other side. And it's a shame, because I remember some of the good things that the awareness had started. There were a lot of cases, a lot of horrible things that happened, so... Yes, that's true, but the voices weren't as prevalent. You had a lot of clear thinking people on both sides of the fence. It used to be a very clear-sided debate. There used to be a lot of unity within that community, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, one day, it took a downturn. It's just like with the Rotten Tomato thing. I just woke up one day, and the aggregator went full woke, and it was like literally a day. I remember getting the first alert on my phone that someone was doing a vid on it, and then I posted a video right afterwards, and I was just like, wow, these things just seem to be like all of a sudden, or maybe they were always there and they've been like slowly weaning into all of our stuff, and then boom, like a light switch, you go from fair and non-biased reviewing to just a bunch of nonsense. And I even tell people, I say, look at the gap. Rotten Tomatoes, even with everything they've been doing, check out that site. There's still gaping gaps. I went on there to look at, because I did a review for 5 Feet Apart, which I don't care what anyone thinks. It's a magical movie. I felt alive again. And I went and I looked at the review. The reviewers gave it a 52. Okay. All right. I guess I'll check that out. I looked at the margins. So for 5 Feet Apart, for 5 Feet Apart, they yes, I totally got derailed. Such a toxic male. For 5 Feet Apart. Sorry, I'm a male. Anyways. For 5 Feet Apart, there was a... For 5 Feet Apart, there was a gap. So 5 Feet Apart on Rotten Tomatoes has a rotten score with 52%. Now, if you look at the audience score, it's sitting at a 70, almost 80%. For a romance movie that has a niche audience, the critics gave it rotten and the audience gave it fresh. So even with them pulling all of the stuff that they're doing, people are still outvoting critics. And I don't understand what the aggregator's trying to do, because the divide still speaks for itself. And then an article came out that said now they're going to do reviews based on whether or not you are ordering your ticket through Fandango. So now you have to have an account to Fandango to register that you've seen the movie and then post a review. Which, guess what? The guy from Fandango owns Rotten Tomatoes. So the shill media is just so, like, oh my God, it's just like so mind-boggling to me. Like, the corruption is real. And people did, like, I've talked to people who've gone to movies, and they looked at me and they're like, Lee, that was a horrible film. And they're like, I went on Rotten Tomatoes, and I go, well, did you look at the critics' score? They were like, yeah. Yes, it is rigged. They went, well, yeah, I went on Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics said this movie was fresh. And I go, did you look at the audience score? And they were like, yeah, the audience didn't like it, but I don't know. And I go, well, start looking at the audience score, because you can't trust the critics. Because if the movie doesn't have some kind of nod to SJW politics or some kind of political lean, it ain't getting a fresh rating. And that's why people don't like 5 Feet Apart. That movie, let me tell you something. Watching Hailey Seyfried, I think is her name, watching her act was one of the greatest moments of my life after seeing Captain Marvel, because I came off this movie after seeing Captain Marvel a second time, and seeing emotion for the first time in a 2-hour movie was just somehow so refreshing. She hit so many different range of emotions in that film. It's astonishing. And if you haven't seen it, check it out, because she just like... Yeah, Doctor Who. Okay, I am a Doctor Who fan, and Doctor Who has become such trash. I actually went from Doctor Who to Torchwood because of the fact that Captain Jack Harkness was a character that originally started in Doctor Who when they were doing that war, and then he broke off and he did his own television show, which I watched Torchwood for, and I love Browman. He's one of my favorite, like, character actors. Only reason why I watched Arrow for as long as I did. And, yeah, that was amazing. Torchwood was awesome. Yeah, but see, the thing about his storyline, if you really watch it, it's not really confirmed whether or not he's gay. He's more, bi, because he's had lovers, in between there. He's had both male and female lovers. So I think that's just his character. His character just, I mean, essentially he lives through, much like Doctor Who, essentially he lives through different time periods, so he's had several different... Yeah, I remember the whole thing with aliens. That was kind of weird, but I was digging it, because I like the fact that Torchwood wasn't woke. It did speak to everyone. That character was saying, hey, he was a lonely guy. I mean, picture being out of place. Yeah, he's immortal. He can't die. So you kind of tend to gravitate towards people, and I think that's why he had the alien interest, was because he tried to gravitate towards people who could live as long as he could. And that was like his safeguard, dealing with the fact that he is essentially all the people that he loves and knows die, and he prepares for this war, that's coming, that he can't ever fully prepare for. And no matter how many centuries he lives, no matter how much he tries to redo it, it's the outcome, always loops back. And I love that concept. The new Torchwood that premiered on Showtime, that I watched the whole thing, that was so good and underrated. I love Bill Pullman, and he was so great in that show. And I believe they had Omar Epps in there as well. And, or it was either Omar Epps or Mekhi Phifer. It might have been Mekhi Phifer. It was one of the two. And that was so great. And, like, I love the fact that in that series, he became mortal for the first time in centuries, and he could actually die, but the world around him was immortal. So the concept was... Yeah, I've watched a lot of interviews with him, and he turned it down. He said if they did another Torchwood, that he might come back, but he's done with Doctor Who. Oh, no, Omar Epps is an actor. I'm pretty sure Omar Epps is an actor, been in a couple of different films. But, yeah, anyways, that series had a great cast, and if you hadn't watched it, definitely check it out, because it is fantastic. It was a great spin on the Torchwood lore, and essentially it was, I forgot what it was called. What was the name of that? I'm going to look it up and then post something on it, but it was something like, Miracle Day. That was the name. It's Torchwood Miracle Day. And in the series, something happens. These aliens come to Earth, and they wind up making, thank you, PB. I definitely have to look that up. But yeah, in the show, everyone becomes immortal. The aliens mess with something, and everyone becomes immortal, and, oh, that's bad dialogue. I haven't even watched the new Doctor Who's, honestly. I refuse. Once they got woke, I said I'm done with the series. But, yeah, in Miracle Day, everyone became immortal, and he became normal. So, like, he got shot, in one episode. I think it was the first episode. He gets shot in the shoulder. And normally, he just lets people shoot him, or he jumps out of a window and does something crazy because he knows he's not going to die. But this time, he thinks that he's invincible, and he gets shot in the shoulder. And the one girl who's been in every one of the Torchwood shows, she's kind of the person he took under his wing. She looks, and he's, like, bleeding, and, like, profusely. And he just stops, and he's like, like a Family Guy moment. It was hilarious. And he's like, that really hurts. I've forgotten so many years how much that really hurts. It was the funniest scene, like, so well acted. It was so hilarious, and, like, he had to stop, and he was, like, out of breath, and then he started aging at a normal rate, because all the years he was immortal, time never caught up to him, but, like, towards the end of the series, he started getting older because of the time thing that they did. Everything was flipped upside down, so he was becoming mortal and aging, and the rest of the world wasn't aging or dying. It was such a great concept. Like, I was so upset that they didn't do another series, but it took them, like, I think, like, 5 years to this one before they got everyone, and the villain was great. Bill Pullman plays the villain, and if you guys don't know, he's from Independence Day, played the president. He plays the main villain, and he is phenomenal, like, just phenomenal in that role, because he's, like, such a villain, like, with depth. Yeah, the end of Miracle Day doesn't really end well either. Yeah, Miracle Day has, it follows the same kind of storyline where, yeah, if you're looking for a happy ending, it's depressing. It leaves on a cliffhanger, and I really hope they make a series. I want to say it's the 6th series now, but I'm not sure because all of those guys are doing their own thing, so all of the actors and actresses have all kind of got different roles in different shows, so... Oh, The Sinner. Yeah, I started it. I could kick myself because I've been so far behind on reviews and, like, doing requests from people that I am down, but I want to watch that show in its entirety. I watched one episode. I love Bill Pullman. Like, he is such an underrated actor. Yeah, that might have just been her premiering in a show, because I haven't seen... I haven't seen her in anything either, but maybe she has. I don't know. When I looked on the website and when I looked up information on it, they said that various cast members were, like, working on other projects, so I don't know. And a lot of those guys are British actors, so they always have, like, small little things that they do outside of the U.S. Like, British television produces some pretty good stuff. They've had some pretty intriguing shows that I've watched. So, yeah, I have to look that up and see. And I feel like I've seen her in other stuff. I can't quite place it right now. And right now I'm shooting off the hip with these subjects. So I have normally, believe it or not, even though you don't see it in my videos, I normally have like a notepad with me, and I take down notes, and then I kind of glance over like this, and if you see me glance over, I'm looking to find a point. But yeah, I just an interesting choice. I don't know. Never been really into that. I dated a girl from Norway. Yes. Oh my goodness, that movie. I don't know. Johnny English, quite a film. Yes. Yes, she is. There were a lot of them because of the way that their character was, that they seem to get a lot of other different a lot of shows in different Bauman is streaming service, so he does like he's on a DC Daily where they like do their talk on different events and stuff, and he does the co-hosting for some of the stuff. So, and he is knowledge in the comic book area, and I believe he was saying when he went to do his role on Arrow, he dove a lot into the different comics and the Arrow lore, or the Green Arrow lore, and he did a lot of studying on the material. So, and then he started getting into other comic books. So it's pretty cool to see like an actor who has that kind of commitment, just like Heath, rest in peace. That man committed. I say hands down, that's my favorite Joker. Jack Nicholson. Like, Jack Nicholson is just Jack Nicholson, and he's just a man of cinema. But I don't know. I think Heath gives him a real run for his money. I also think it's two different Jokers. Jack Nicholson Joker is very like 90s Batman feel to it, like that kind of like goofy yet maniacal Joker, where Heath Ledger's Joker is more of the new, very dark, twisted type of Joker. So, but those two were pretty committed, and they said Jack Nicholson also did a lot of studying up to do his role for the Joker. So, Hamill, oh, I love him so much, and his Joker is just amazing. Yeah, for the times, that was a very unique iteration of the Joker. But the new era really made the Joker's character shine more because they could push the limits a lot more. The Joker character has actually gone through several reboots through the years because there was a censorship issue when the Joker first came out, where he had to change a lot of the edginess that the character had because of the fact that they didn't want a lot of killing and things like that, so they really had to water down the character. And then there's been several iterations of the Joker. There was an arc where I believe like he had sewn his own face on. It was really weird. But yeah, I mean, the Joker is so iconic, and that is a character that has truly morphed and changed and evolved over the years, which is why he's hands down one of my favorite villains. Just because of the dynamic between Batman. Like, I feel like it's just a never-ending, like, and I find that very compelling, even to this day. Like, the Joker is, in a sense, he really is like Batman if Batman was completely reversed. And I like how they find that in each other. He's basically Batman's worst qualities. So that is compelling writing, like, hands down. So I mean, that's just my feelings and why I always liked him. I always like Lex Luthor, because I always liked the fact that he could never go one-on-one with Superman, but he's so brilliant. And it's always the age-old argument between which one wins, the physical or the mental. And although I love Superman, they built him very, like, physically dominating. He does have his moments, but I think that, like, the other characters do a lot of the problem solving, and then he's like the hammer. And that's why Lex Luthor was such a great foil for him, because Lex Luthor knows that he can't beat Superman in a one-on-one fight, but intellectually he can take him. I just feel he could take him 9 out of 10 times. So if I do agree. I never particularly brought into... I like the Batman stories, but I never really liked Batman as a character. I do respect his arc, and I respect the whole thing that they did with him and how he's, like, changed and evolved over the years, but really, where Batman shines is when he has a good foil to play off of. I love the interactions between Batman and Superman because of the stark contrast. You have Superman, who's basically the bubbly character of the DC, and then you have Batman. Yeah, I love Nightwing. Nightwing is like level-headed Bruce Wayne. Like, Nightwing is like a much he's basically a Bruce Wayne 2.0. He's like well-adjusted Bruce Wayne. And a lot of people hated the show Titans. I'm just gonna go on record and say I liked it. I like Titans. I like what the DC did to it. I understand the controversy with Starfire. Really don't care. Because while her character didn't get a lot of character development and might have just been, like, placed there, the overall story was awesome, and that season finale was epic. The season finale for Titans was, hands down, pretty amazing. And how they introduced Trigon to the story was pretty good. I was not on board with a movie or series with a good story arc. Gosh, I've seen so many. Okay, I gotta say, hands down, and this is gonna be a weird one, but hands down, my all-time favorite, and I know I'm going against the grain with every show that's been made, but my all-time favorite series that shows everything good in writing would be Breaking Bad. That character, I followed Bryan Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle, and when they said they were doing this show, I said, he's a comedian. He can't do a serious role. And was I wrong? Was I ever wrong? Because I wasn't even going to watch the show, and a friend of mine said, yo, you got to watch Breaking Bad. It is just amazing. So I started with the first 8 episodes, and I caught up right to where the season was, and I literally followed that show to the end. Now, Stargate would be my favorite sci-fi show. That would be one of my faves of all time, because that show had spanned across universes, 2 other iterations in Atlantis and Universe, which I enjoyed both of those. And it is such an expansive universe, so many stories in that universe. That took me forever. Oh my gosh. When my friend first told me about it, I had watched the Stargate movie and liked it, and I had watched a couple of episodes and wasn't really feeling it, and my friend said, yo, you gotta watch it from the beginning or you're gonna be lost. And he's right. That's a show you gotta watch from beginning to end or you don't understand because of how they interconnect it. PB, I agree. Stargate is a great show, but if we're talking in terms of acting, I'd have to give it to Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, hands down, has some great acting and character development. That is a great story on how wanting to do the right thing, you get so far left. And then when you reach towards the end of Walter White's journey and you see like that in essence everything that he's done all of this time is actually for self-gratification. I mean, that's some power. Like, the whole season final was so powerful. The dialogue was just great. No lines fell flat. I mean, one of the greatest lines I ever heard was when, and I remember the name of the episode, it was called, yes, I love the Replicators. That was a great arc in Stargate, I'll give you that. The Replicators arc was phenomenal. Hands down, one of my favorite Stargate arcs of all time. Actually, my PB, you'd know this one. My email Bynar304 was on that character Bynar when it was only one episode. Yeah, it was one episode, but I loved him and I got so pissed because they villains back and they never brought him back, and if I remember the episode correctly, they never killed him. They kind of left it hanging and we never heard anything again. I was so mad because after I saw that episode, that was my tag name for a good bit of my gamer profiles and stuff, was Bynar304. So I absolutely loved that episode. But my favorite episode of Breaking Bad was called Say My Name. And there's a great line where he's got like his black fedora and stuff, and he's talking to these drug dealers. He's talking to these drug dealers, and he looks at them, and he goes into this whole big speech because they're. He goes into a whole big speech, and he goes to him and he's like talking about how their product is like RC Cola and his is like Coke. And he goes, do you really wanna get rid of plastic? Right? And they say, like, they look at Mike, the bodyguard guy, they were like, you know, who is this guy? Who is this guy who thinks he can talk to me like this? And he looks at him and he goes, you know who I am. And the guy just like looks with his thumb, looked, and he goes, I'm the guy who killed Gus Fring, who owns the largest pipelines in Arizona. He goes, I'm the man. And he just looks, he goes, you? He goes, yeah, you know my name. Say my name. And the guy's just looking, and he's like, Heisenberg? It's like, goddamn right. I was like, oh, such a great, I remember that line. One of my favorite lines. Like, this guy has such a snarky attitude, and he just so puts him in his place. And it's great because if you watch the episode, they do. Yes, you shouldn't text and drive. I've learned that many times. So they do a great arc in this episode where basically it's about him and his narcissism and how his narcissism is driving their business into the ground, and everyone around him sees it, and this is like a sinking ship and everyone's trying to get out, but he wants to stay in. And then you know, towards the end of the episode, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but there's such a powerful moment where his wife comes in. And this dude has been stacking money since like the beginning of the show. And they open up this like warehouse full of cash. It's like pallets full of all of this money. And his wife looks at him because he said he started originally to get financial security. And then it became like a 9-to-5. And he looks, and he has not seen his money since he started. He had a plan, and he had to get a certain amount, and he hadn't seen his money since he started moving real weight. And he looks at all this money, and his wife goes, look at this. She's like, look at all of this cash. She goes, we can't spend this in our lifetime. We can't spend this, our kids can't spend it in their lifetime. When is enough? When is enough? When are you going to be happy with what we have? And it was like a realization where he just looked and he goes, wow. You know, it's just the look on his face. He doesn't even have to say anything. Just the emotions and the expression on his face looking at all of this cash. It's like 3 pallets worth of $100 bills that they can't even wash because the currency is so high. And he looks and he's like, yep, I think I'm done. You know, kind of a thing. And that's why I like the show. It's like real character development. It's at its finest. And you can actually go through and watch every season and see the arc that this character has. The slow, methodical building arc that this writing team did years and years. And even when you get to the end, everything makes sense. The director ties in the man's watch to the very last episode. The watch that he wears through the season, he ties it to the end of the show as symbolism. It is brilliant. I just, I love it. I love good storytelling. Like, that is just amazing to see, especially in a long episodic television show. So that's my long rant on why I like that show, Star Wars Wookiee. I'm sorry, that was like a really in-depth thing I got into. My critiquing side that came out in full force there. But yeah, I'm big into character development, and you know, world building is pretty important, but it depends on what story you're telling. Yes, Dexter was good, but where it failed for me was the ending. I felt like the season with John Lithgow, when he played the Trinity Killer. Yeah, Dexter was a great show. I felt like at the ending they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of things. I felt like that was a case where the creator didn't take the character where they should have because they really didn't want to. I don't know. That's an interesting study, and you can interpret the ending in a lot of different ways. But, you know, like maybe he didn't lose his life, but he lost everything else. I don't know what they were going for there. I felt like John Lithgow was just such a great villain that they killed it at about that season. Because him playing the Trinity Killer, he just did a phenomenal job, and he's an amazing actor. And no great moment in that, the greatest moment in that show was when Dexter was in the police department and John Lithgow walks into his work, looks at the board to the side of all of his killings and smiles, kind of tips his hat, walks right up to Dexter's desk and says, "Hello, Dexter Morgan." That is one of my favorite lines in that whole show, because it was like they had a cat and mouse game going through that whole season. And he was clear. Last 3 episodes were terrible. I didn't buy him killing someone in a police department and them just letting him walk out. I know, you know, the circumstances, but yeah, that's what I agree. I agree with that statement. Like, I like how the show really showed the consequence. Like, in that world that he inhabited, it was a really strong, powerful message that when you look at that season, okay, I believe it's not the 3rd, 4th season, I believe. When you look at that season as a whole, the whole point of the season is that he is trying to balance his nightlife with his married life. And that's why he looked at the Trinity Killer, because he saw in the window and he saw what appeared to be a perfect family, and he's like, if this guy is the longest running serial killer and he can make it work, then there's got to be some kind of method, some kind of something that he's using. And when he gets to that realization that he is indeed just seeing the people that he's been with, that he's built a life with, as cover, as camouflage, and that Dexter actually loves the people around him. He actually would kill for the people around him because his principles, while they're slightly different. The realization at that last shot when he loses the one thing that if he ever had love, because it's hinted that he does have the capability to love other people in his own kind of way, but when he finally sees that last moment was such a powerful statement, I think, to what the show represents, that he can't have it both ways. He can't do what he does and lead a normal life. It's impossible, especially being married, because anyone in a relationship knows you can't keep stuff hidden forever. You can try, it doesn't work. All right, it just doesn't work. Women are like Jedi. They figure the stuff out, okay? Or maybe they don't exactly figure it out, but they got an idea. So him trying to lead the double life, it was always going to come back to where he lives. No matter what he did, no matter how he tried to shelter his family, there was always going to be that one person that... Yeah, I never liked the wife's character either. Julie Benz is the name of the actress, and by the way, she's a phenomenal actress. I've seen her in other things. She is good, but that character was changed significantly from the books, and I don't like the direction that they took it into. I felt like she was like a big hinder on his character. When they had their moments, they had pretty good touching moments, but I felt like she more just handcuffed the potential of his character. So, yeah, I mean, it was still shocking, though. I mean, I still did not expect them to take her out, at least not in that way, but it made a powerful statement, and it really did work for what they were trying to go for. It really showed that Dexter cannot have a normal life. And even if it's a callback to the first couple of seasons when his father is trying to tell him, Dex, you can't be like other people. You can't go to the prom. You can't do these things because you don't have that thing that other people have. That social thing is missing. And I mean, you can fake it, but when it comes to love and emotions and feelings, that part is just something that you're not good at. That's not your talent. And it was a beautiful ending to that season, at least to me, in a warped way, I guess, because I kind of got a little bit more reviews. But yes, I love that character. That was one of the characters that they changed from the book, and I was mad about, because actually his brother lives through the whole series. So he was actually a good foil. He was hanging with Dexter for a lot of the show, and if you read the books, it was a great interaction between him and his brother and like the kids and stuff. Also too, the Cody and Aster, they didn't do what they did in the books. They become like little Dexters. He finds out that Aster and Cody are both damaged like him because of the abuse that the father did to them, and he winds up starting to train them to do what he does, because there's a storyline where he finds like a bunch of dead cats and things, and he recognizes the signs, and so he starts kind of like training them like Harry did for him. I think that would have been a great storyline to play with, and they completely like cut it from the show. So I didn't understand what they did with those characters. Like, after that last season, they just became, like, completely useless and kind of there, so. And that was my problem with Dexter. There were a lot of threads that they kind of just let go or didn't really acknowledge towards the end of the season. They kind of, like, a lot of loose threads that they never tied up for me towards the end of that show, so. That was my gripes there, so. And as you can see, I'm a Walking Dead fan. So, I actually did a couple of videos on the new season. Gosh, that show is such a mixed bag. But thankfully, it's gotten a little bit more watchable. it's kind of funny because, and I had this in my comments, but they tried the woke approach, doing a lot of female empowerment in that show, and it failed miserably. And they started getting back to the core characters now because no one wanted it. So they tried to make a big female push in that show, and it, like, they lost a lot of they lost a lot of viewers, and they lost a lot of different characters too that were pretty instrumental. So it's gonna be interesting to see how long that show stays on for. But yeah. So anyways, wow, I don't know. You know what? Thank you everyone who's been like chatting for this long, because my goodness, the fact that you guys want to hear me talk for this long blows my mind. Sometimes I don't want to hear myself talk this long. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm gonna make this my last point because I do have to use the restroom, and I do have to, because I've been like out all day today, with training. But to answer you, Star Wars Wookiee, I love The Sopranos, and now looking back on it, oh, thank you, Thug. I love that. I'm a guinea pig, loose. Oh, PB. Okay, so, here's the thing. This is my thoughts on The Sopranos, and this is one of my favorite mob series of all time, and I will tell you, why I think this show was so great, and why I don't have a problem with the ending that people did. Okay, first off, to give you subtext, I followed that show during its HBO run. Saw them all as they premiered on HBO, along with 6 Feet Under, and yes, I'm going to get mocked for this, but Sex and the City, great show. I don't care what anyone says. Riveting stuff, okay? I love Mr. Big. Strong representation of myself. And Sopranos, though, I love the ending because I have read articles about this. I read articles about this, and okay, so when they did that final episode, a lot of people were mad, but to me, most iconic endings to a show, and two reasons. Much like Star Wars, old school Star Wars, you could theorize about a lot of things, and in the Sopranos community, no, I'm not talking Last Jedi, PB, okay? No one likes Last Jedi, and if they do, please don't friend me, okay? So, The Sopranos, the greatest part about that ending that got people at the time, and I was in the community of The Sopranos, when they did that cut to black, we have theorized for years the fade to black, okay? It was the first and only show to ever do it. And the fade to black has finally, years later, been explained by the director, David Chase. What happened was, okay? And I think this was ahead of its time. So, break down that scene. At the end, you have the diner. Tony Soprano is sitting. Now, he is under the illusion. He is under the illusion that he has beaten all of his enemies. He took out that guy from New York, all of the people that opposed him, and he believes that he's gotten out. You know, Stevie Van Zat's character, we don't know what state he's in because he got shot pretty bad, but I am sorry about that. My phone did its freak out. So, the last point. So, with The Sopranos and that final season, what happened was, okay, you have the diner, you have all of the characters sitting there, the original cast, and you have Don't Stop Believing. Okay? So, when you break down that scene, there are a few people in the diner, all right? There's a guy in the corner looking suspiciously at Tony Soprano and his family. There's another guy who's at the very end of the diner drinking coffee, because I broke down this scene thousands of times. I have the DVD. I've paused it and analyzed it. Bad life. So, there's a guy down at the very corner. He is sitting there with his coffee, right? And the guy at the far end looks and kind of gives him a signal. If you look really closely, he kind of like nods or something. That guy who's sitting at the end of the corner, he gets up, he goes to the bathroom, okay? The camera work is brilliant in it too, because they give you just enough to see him leave. Now, remember the first episode. The first episode goes from black to like the shot being Tony sitting in the psychiatrist's office. And now, keep that in mind when I explain the ending. So, now, you see the guy leave. Tony's talking with his wife. They're patching things up. His kids are there, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, you hear his heartbeat, right? Like, you know, he feels something is off. And now he's looking around, and he looks at the guy in the corner who was sitting there, who gave the head nod to the other guy at the end, right? He looks over, and he notices that the guy at the end of the diner is not there anymore. And then everything's kind of slowing down. It's a little bit weird, but the Journey music is playing consistently. Now, he looks around. He looks at his family. The camera kind of pans. All of a sudden, if you look really closely, you can kind of almost see the guy coming out of the bathroom. And then as that Journey song hits the Don't Stop Believing, you see that all of a sudden it fades to black. My theory is that a hit set up before that guy died, because he killed the guy from New York previously in the other episode, which kind of leads into the season final. And I believe that what happened was that guy had already put out a hit on him at that diner, because they all went there. And that at the end, that was the hit taking place. And when the camera goes to black, like when the show begins, it looks like someone's eyes are opening. It's his eyes closing, which means he was killed. So essentially, we have seen the whole story of The Sopranos kind of maybe as a flashback of his life flashing before his eyes before he died. And then the fade to black is him dying. So we've essentially watched this whole series as he remembers it through his eyes, and then bam, fade to black. Yeah, I know. I spent quite a bit of time analyzing it, and the director kind of hinted towards it, but he did the whole, you know, you use your own imagination. But when they were shooting it, they did plan on doing a Sopranos movie, but then James Gandolfini died, and you can't have a Sopranos movie without Tony. So, a running theory. And I choose to stick by it because all of the evidence hints towards that it was a hit, and that this whole time, the whole entire series, you were seeing basically Tony Soprano's life flash before his eyes. Yeah. And it explains everything. You have... and if the director meant that this was the way he was going, it's brilliant, because you have the essential first episode lit like someone waking up almost, and then you have the very last episode with it fading to black. Bam, no reason. And think about it. If they shot someone, we're normally used to seeing mob hits like live, right? Like you see the person getting killed and you're like, oh, okay, they're dead. But how brilliant is it that we're seeing it through the person's eyes? So essentially, when it goes to black, that's his eyes closing. We don't get any subtext of what the people around him are thinking. You use your own imagination and you go, oh, was it a hit? I mean, was this the whole time? This was his story being told? This was the last things that he was thinking about? We were just... And then when it fades to black, that's him dying. Maybe he's in the ambulance. Maybe he's like on life support and his eyes are closed. And then the end of his life flashing before him was the scene in the diner. So bam, he gets shot. It goes to black. and everything that we've gotten was everything he's been experiencing as he's battling between life and death. And that final fade to black means he didn't make it. Then, boom, that's the end of the show. That's how I choose to look at it. And David Chase is a brilliant writer, so I choose to believe that's the route he went with the show. And if he did, then it's way ahead of its time, because I've never seen another show pull anything like that. And so, yeah, that was my theory. Right? Yeah, and there's been a lot of evidence to support that theory, and the director has indirectly come out and said that we might be on track, but I think he just enjoys speculating. Yeah, he did some pretty crazy stuff towards the end. Like, he killed massive amounts of people towards the end of that series, so I don't think that he made it up to the pearly gates. Because, man, that show, he is the anti-hero if I've ever seen an anti-hero. Like, Tony Soprano was the anti-hero before we got anti-heroes. Like, you didn't want to root for him, but he was so funny and had such a weird moral code that, you know, you just, that's why people were so angry, because they didn't want Tony Soprano to die. Yeah, that is a fair point. Fair point. But anyways, thank you everybody for staying on this stream with me. Really love and appreciate. This was the after party to the party in the hotel lobby, and after the lobby, it's the bottles of Chris. Oh no, sorry, caught flashes of New York again. All right, anyways, love you guys all. Thank you. Oh, no problem, Wookie. Thank you for staying in, and thank you, everybody, for staying and listening to me do random babbles about different things. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all love. Thank you. 100 subs. And now I've got loftier goals. 200. I'm at 101 right now, so I'm going for the big 2, and I'm going to do streams like this every 100, so... Yeah, I'm gonna see if Miss can lend me a dragon. Yeah, 1K, I don't know. 1K, I'll definitely just Shazam dance the whole video. It will be you guys. I will buy a camera, I will set it up, and it will be full-on flossing whole entire video, and maybe throw in some other moves in there, and you guys will get to enjoy that. And I'll lose about 900 subscribers, but I don't care, because I do it. Thank you, guys. To everyone, if you like this, hit the like button. If you have any comments, and also to everyone listening, I do reviews for you guys. So if you have any suggestions, leave them in my comments below. And when I have the time between all of the crazy insanity between my 2 jobs, I will review a movie for you and give you my analysis, and I'll have actual professional notes and sources and be slightly more professional than this off-the-hip video that I just shot. So, until then, as always, thank you. As always, my favorite tagline for the end of this video, me and my buddy Goose the Cat, the man, the myth, the legend, will see you in theaters. Peace.